What is going on, guys? Rewinds here, and in this video I'm going to be bringing you guys some major spoilers for Boruto 2 Blue Vortex manga chapter number 5. So this is a little bit of a odd month simply because of how things are being posted. Normally I will go and get a lot of my translations and stuff like that from Abdul Zoldyck and also from Luana. This month, actually, both of them almost ended up being busy. Abdul was busy, so we are going to be getting some things in this video from Luana, but as I'm starting this up, those translations aren't out from her yet, but I am going to add that in a little bit more into the video. But what we do have, as I'm recording right now, is a whole lot of raw draft images from the chapter. We pretty much have the whole chapter actually leaked now, so I don't know if I'm going to run through all of it page by page, but I'm going to run through at least a decent chunk of it, I think. So let's start with that. So first things first, shout out to Donut over here for posting these images and also posting, I guess, some loose translations of what's going on. So we're going to run through, some key pages here. I don't want to run through all of them just because that would make things, too long. This video would probably end up being like 30-40 minutes if I combine it with the actual translations then. So I don't want to push it that far. So let's just have a look from here. Shout out to him again. And seems like we're starting off with a Sasuke cover page, and I'm gonna not click these in full just because I get hit with copyright very often when I do, so hopefully you guys can get a decent look just like this. I am gonna go over as much as I can. So the chapter is called Target, and we have a Sasuke solo cover page. I think it looks pretty solid. Let me know what you think. So, page 2, it says pant, 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 pant. Alright, let's end it here. Let's rest for a little. And you can just tell by how this page looks that this isn't what's currently going on, of course, because Sasuke is here and he's also talking to Boruto. So clearly we're in a flashback at the moment, and it seems like, maybe some training's going on or something like that. So another important thing, I guess, here to note is if you have a look over here, Boruto's hair is a lot different than what it is now. Kinda close to Sasuke's, actually, as if he's trying to imitate his style. We go over to page 3, Sasuke, now I mean master. House by Uchiha style, do you think I'm already mastering it? Yeah, and this year I think I was able to teach you most of my techniques and style. And he says, huh? Hold on, master. You have to be joking. I was just a little cocky to say that. Train me more from now on too. Do you think the look on this face is joking? So Sasuke is like dead serious in this convo, saying that he taught him everything in a 1-year span, or most of his techniques. So this shows you that this is a year after they left the village, and it seems like Boruto has already picked up a good bit from Sasuke at this point, which makes sense with the plot, because a year into the plot was when it seems like Sasuke was turned, not turned, but a year into the plot. Since they left the village, seemed like when Sasuke was, trapped in that tree. So, there's some more dialogue pages, and these are like some loose translations, like I said. So I'm not gonna, go over all of these here yet, because some of these could be way different. So if you care more about the translations, probably go, a little bit further in this video where I end up adding the translations later. But I'm going to run through a bit more of the key pages now. So they're talking over here. Dialogue continues, you know. This is kind of focused on, it seems like, the whole conversation between Boruto and Sasuke back then, and I do see a mention of Sarada here as well. So this is probably talking about, you know, the whole decision and how maybe Sasuke feels of why he's even helping out to begin with. And then, big panel, we see Code over here holding his eye. So this is when he lost his eye, and now we see Boruto and Sasuke both, you know, involved in this fight with him. And it seems like, you know, Sasuke is taking the lead, of course. Pretty much here in this next one, he's saying there's no way we can win against this guy, so we gotta run. Or he's telling Boruto at least to run, and tells him to pretty much survive. So this is kind of his big sacrifice scene. I'm sure this is something that is gonna get expanded on perhaps later, at least in the anime. Because this seems like they're just flashing back to one big instance of this happening rather than giving us, you know, a whole big chapter per se of just like, you know, the build up to the Code versus Sasuke fight. Something I'm really hoping for is that whenever the scene down the line is animated, that although Sasuke is gonna go out here and he seems to know that he's outmatched, hopefully they have him go out in a, you know, badass way, kind of like how in my opinion he deserves. So hopefully they handle that right whenever that happens in the anime. I understand that since this is a monthly manga, it's kind of tough for them to expand on this a lot. Maybe they still will, but it seems like, you know, they just wanted us to see this chapter, you know, a little bit of the ending scenes of what exactly happened here. So seems like Sasuke was charging in here at Code and his creatures, knowing that he was outmatched, pretty much giving Boruto the chance to run away and survive. Time to get stronger and master the techniques he taught him in the first year, which, you know, makes sense and just shows you the bond that, you know, they still ended up sharing despite the memory change. So then we have like this pretty cool panel in this page over here with Sasuke charging in at Code and his creatures, and Boruto's just screaming there. So moving forward, then we get to see Boruto on page 9 and 10 with this old haircut style, kind of just seeing what happened to Sasuke. And if you look over on the bottom left, you can see that Sasuke definitely took some people down with him. So that's why I'm saying that whenever I guess we see more of a scene, we know he at least did something there. And then pretty much over here, we're just kind of getting, you know, Boruto saying, you know, leave it to me and all that, and then we cut back over to the present. And then this leads us to another big point. We actually have Konohamaru pop up to the story, being guided over, and this is actually very, very relevant to him because a lot of people, including me, have been kind of wanting more from him. So this plot point could definitely get him a lot more involved in the story. So he heads over and he actually finds, you know, his childhood best friend, Moegi, you know, captured by one of these trees. So a lot of people did think that there was a chance that Moegi was one of those Shinjus from the last chapter, one of those Shinju creatures, and it seems like they were right. So pretty much Konohamaru, as well as Team 10, I believe, have taken notice of this, and they are all, you know, not happy, especially if you look at the image. Shikadai and Konohamaru especially aren't happy. So this might be setting up for a battle where those, you know, the whole Team 10 teams up with Konohamaru down the line to end up taking down the Moegi Shinju creature. So going forward from here, about the next 10 or so images, well, 10 or so pages. We're going to actually zoom through a little bit because it's a lot of dialogue, and like I said, I'm going to add the translations in more towards the end of the video, or the second half of the video. I don't know how long the translations will be, but that depends on how many translations, I guess, come out per se about the chapter, so we'll save that for a little later. But we got a lot of dialogue here, so that's what we're going to cut through. We actually have some dialogue going on between the Shinju creatures, so they seem to have like a little base of their own now. It could just be that dimension they were in before, but that's exactly where they're talking, I believe. They're all together and they're just discussing something. So that's page 17. We talk about it still going to 18, and then we actually have Ida tuning into the conversation on 19. And then 20, we see Ida and Damon talking as well a little bit while they're still listening into the conversation, on 21. And then 22, we're still talking. 23, cutting back over to Ida a little bit. Something interesting does seem to happen over here. It just seems like that they recognize Ida's presence or something like that. It at least seems like it, or this could just be Ida's thing where, she's going back with her eye to check out the conversation in the past time. That could be it too. But the panel just makes it look like that they can see Ida, or at least this bug-like Shinju did here. So more talking, and then we have Ida and Damon back in the present again, and then we actually cut over to Amado, who we haven't seen in the longest of times, and he's actually talking to Sumire. And it seems like Amado mentions Boruto coming back after 3 years and how he protected the leaf. So this seems to be a convo, and this is going to be interesting to see if Amado actually remembers the truth here, or if his memories were altered actually as well, and he was never able to, change his mind like some of the others. So, conversation continues, and he pretty much does have a little bit of a talk about Akebi, which I believe is his daughter's name, and he said he added the data to Kawaki's restored karma, and it seems like he has an idea over here, at least, of because of that restored karma, that maybe Boruto's not the one he restored the karma for. So it seems like Amado has an idea though, where Sumire stands with Boruto. It's at least implied from some of these translations here. And they continue talking to page 30, and you see, yep, exactly, he's talking right here about putting his daughter's data when regenerating Boruto's karma, and it disappeared. So pretty much Amado's goal of bringing back his daughter has disappeared because, memory-wise, he believes it should be in Boruto's karma, when in reality it's actually in Kawaki's karma, but Kawaki wouldn't let him know that because Kawaki doesn't really care for Amado, and on top of that, Kawaki is definitely not going to want to reveal his secret of, the whole memory change. So, Sumire over here is actually like sweating a little bit, wondering how Amado could possibly even know some of these things about like Boruto potentially, and how he put this together, because she thought it was really only her and Sarada. And this is us 31 pages in, then cut over to Page 32, still talking, so it seems like this conversation goes on for a bit. Very dialogue heavy chapter, so we're definitely going to be moving the story along a good bit, I believe. Over here, we're still talking Sumire and Amado, but we also see Sai over here who's talking to Shikamaru about something. And then we actually see Sarada and Sumire talking at the end of page 34. But this is big because then we have a shattered Uzumaki family image, and they're pretty much talking about over here that even if someone sees a family photo with Boruto in it, people will still say that Kawaki is the 7th Hokage's son, because everyone's believing their own memory despite, physical proof. So that just shows you the power of the whole history rewrite that happened 3 years ago here. Then over here, as they're talking, it seems like Boruto surprises them and jumps into the conversation. And doesn't seem like they were ready for that, because they both, slightly just look back. And it seems like Boruto's finishing a sentence of what Sarada and Sumire were talking about. He says, doubting his memories, he used his life to save me. This is him looking serious, talking, and that's Sarada turning back to see him. And then it says, Boruto says, also for you, Sarada. And she comes in running over here to hug him. Big reunion moment, of course, here. And it'll be interesting to see how they move things going forward. And again, how is Shikamaru going to respond to Boruto getting back in the village? And how are the others going to respond? Are they going to be able to detect it? Or is something else going to happen? And then, she goes running in to hug Boruto. Sumire's looking on. And you can see Boruto's eyes down here are also a little sad. Kind of like, him realizing he's been gone for a while. And she says, Sarada says, you're late, stupid Boruto. And I'm pretty sure that's how the chapter closes. Or no, right here. He says, sorry, I'm now home. And it says here, the hug is a proof of memories that never changes. Boruto is back with the behalf of his master. So now, what needs to happen, I guess, is Boruto's probably going to explain what exactly happened to Sasuke if she doesn't know already. But nonetheless, big chapter. Just even in looking from these images, a lot happened, of course, dialogue-wise. A lot of the story moved. And it seems like a good bit is being set up for sure. We also even got, some of the flashback portion of what exactly happened to Sasuke. So that's cool too. What I'm going to do now is move on to the more proper translation section. Just depends again on what we get. I don't know what to expect. I don't know if it's going to be a full-on summary or if it's going to be just, certain pages with Luana translating a little bit more accurately, but that's what I'm going to cut over to now. But yeah, definitely a exciting chapter for I guess you could say the reunion of Boruto and Sarada, as well as really cool stuff with the flashback we got earlier, and also some interesting conversations clearly going on. So let me cut over to the translations now. Alright guys, so Luana's translations just came out in full. So I haven't looked at them myself yet, so I'm just going to be going over them with you guys, reacting and, of course discussing as usual. So let's have a look. First things first though, she did post this like an hour ago, where we have the chapter 5 cover, and it pretty much translates to believe in something even if you doubt yourself. After the big change, what happened to Boruto and Sasuke? Title of the chapter, target, which we knew from earlier, but here is the full cover. Solo Sasuke cover. I think it looks pretty cool seeing it in full. To be honest, I don't think there's been a bad cover yet for Two Blue Vortex. Some people may agree, some people may disagree, but that's what I think so far. So, pretty much what she did is she dropped some bullet points for a summary of chapter 5, so that's what we're going to be going over. It's just 2 long tweets, so we're going to be looking at that. So, and if you guys want to, go back and compare it to the images, you could do that, but this is going to be straight bullet points from here on. The chapter begins in a flashback. The first 10 to 12 pages are just about that. Sasuke and Boruto are talking about the development of Boruto's Uchiha style. It is overlapping in the context what type of technique Boruto may have developed, but it is clear that both are training hard, both master and pupil. Sasuke mentions that they already got him off the wrong path, and also comments that he and Sarada must resolve certain things that he has a strange feeling about. So, what's big here is Sasuke is also training, so Sasuke is getting stronger here as well. Boruto is learning in Uchiha style, so what kind of jutsu is Boruto possibly going to have, in his bag of tricks now going forward? Let me know what you think. Still in the flashback, they meet Code, and it is Sasuke who ends up hurting his eye. Big thing right there. So Sasuke did go out, leaving some permanent damage on Code, which I appreciate as a fan. However, Code is with his Jubi army, aka the SASUKE'S, and Sasuke insists to Boruto that he must leave. He reiterates that Boruto needs to live, no matter what or how. Boruto refuses to leave him alone, but Sasuke insists, even in the midst of his pupil's despair. Sasuke, in his last words to him, also says that he's entrusting Sarada to him, and then he happens to be swallowed by the tree. Boruto, even after Sasuke has already gone, infers that Sasuke can count on him. The context implies it is about everything, what they experience as student and master, and about his last request. So, Sasuke sacrificed himself for Boruto pretty much, as we had seen in the panels earlier, and it seems like he left Sarada up to him. So, take that as you may, but it is going to be Boruto's job, of course, to honor Sasuke's, last words, as well as perhaps, make use of this escape chance that Sasuke got him as well here, which we of course know Boruto did escape, and Boruto got a lot stronger in the 2 years after that. The flashback with Boruto ends, and we have another scene where we see Konohamaru and Inoshikacho team come across another person trapped in a tree. They are shocked. The person is Moegi, who before turning into a tree was helping a mother and a daughter to escape. As they had ended up being left behind when it was time to run, the trio promises not to leave those who did this to Moegi unpunished, even under the possibility that she is not actually dead. I also do want to go back and mention something. If you think about the whole Sasuke versus Code encounter, that was probably the first time that the whole army that Code had was introduced, and then they probably didn't have an idea of that at the time, that being a thing, but that's probably how Boruto picked up on that. As for this thing in the current, it seems like, Moegi, Team 10's sensei, got captured in this tree, and this is a great way for them to give Inoshikacho something to do going forward, as well as Konohamaru, because there's definitely some personal relevance here for Konohamaru as well. So it'll be exciting to see him involved for that, as well as Inoshikacho down the line whenever they do have to face off with the Moegi Shinju. The small flashback ends again and returns to what is now Moegi in its tree version. The name of this tree is called Matsuri. She's talking to Alfredo, where he says that they all share the same consciousness. Okay, I don't know who's Alfredo, but I guess the Moegi one is called Matsuri, so now we know that. Alfredo might be the one that some people were saying might be the Jigen look-alike. So let's just assume it's that for now. But if, the name is mentioned later, we'll know. Alfredo reaffirms that they are a single existence coming from Shinju, but in a unique way. Each one has their own consciousness. They still plan to feed on Boruto and Kawaki. The purpose has never changed, but now he also considers eating someone else. Naruto Uzumaki. So, maybe this is how Boruto and Kawaki eventually are going to have to get along again. Maybe that fight that we saw at the start of Boruto might be, a fight that Boruto is doing to perhaps free up Naruto for help. That could be a possibility, I think. But I do want to say that Alfredo is definitely the one that is the Jigen lookalike now, because I remember seeing a leak with his name talking about Naruto, so that's where that's from. The scene switches to Ida, who is aware of their plan, the whole Boruto, Kawaki, and now Naruto thing. The scene switches back to Matsuri. Matsuri questions about Naruto as he is not an Otsutsuki, but Alfredo reiterates that each of them, part of the divine tree, has an instinct within them, and that instinct indicates to them who their next target should be. When they make an effort to listen to this strong instinct, they will understand what they must do. Matsuri then reveals that she might want to eat Konohamaru. The scene returns to the tree version of Sasuke, who calls Alfredo by a second name, Jorah. He questions who they really are. Alfredo or Jorah responds that it's a waste of time to think about this kind of thing. We then have the identity of the new name of the tree version of Sasuke revealed, being called Hidari. So we have two new names, Jorah and Hidari. The scene keeps changing to Ida, showing us that she is aware of everything that was talked about. However, she discovers that she is also the target of someone, from the tree version of Bug. Poor little Damon is scared of his sister's, or by his sister's expression. That is going to be interesting too, the fact that they are targets, which does make sense. It'll be interesting to see how, everything is going to be handled. There's some nice setup happening in this chapter though, for sure. The focus turns back to Hidari, and he reveals that his target is Sarada Uchiha. The scene changes to Amado and Sumire. They are talking about Boruto's return to the village after 3 years, and how he protected Konoha from Code's maneuvers. They talk about Akebi's data. Both seem suspicious when talking to each other. Amado knows much more than he appears to know. According to himself, there is no way not to know something he designed himself. He admits that his memories differ with what he is seeing, but the answer is obvious to him. So this just shows Amado has things figured out, and, he's suspicious, so he might have an idea that Sumire knows what's up to. The scene switches then to Sai and Shikamaru, who are aware of what Amado just said. The scene then changes to Sumire and Sarada. End of part 1 of these translations. Part 2 and pretty much the end of the stuff. Sumire and Sarada talk about having believed that Amado was under omnipotence like everyone else. Both are skeptical about the evidence that Amado presents. His proof, since usually someone's memory is something irrefutable itself. Sarada then remembers what it was like with her own father. So, that kind of gives them a little bit of hope, because they saw how the thing with Sasuke went. Boruto appears in the background saying that his master Sasuke trusted him, even though he doubted his own memories. A sentence in bold stands between the panels of Boruto and an emotional Sarada. Sasuke saved him. He completes it saying it was because of her. Sarada runs to Boruto and hugs him. It is not possible to see their expressions when they remain hugged, but Sarada says he is late. Boruto finally replies, "Sorry, I'm just here now." Author's note is his hug is an immutable proof of memory. Boruto returns with his master's legacy on his shoulders. and that pretty much wraps up chapter 5. So I'm definitely excited to read this in full when the official version comes out. And it seems like we got a lot of dialogue this chapter, a lot of good setup, and a lot of good things shown from the Sasuke flashback at the start of the chapter. One thing I definitely want to give props for is that every month since Boruto 2 Blue Vortex has came out has felt like we've been getting a lot in each chapter, and I do appreciate that. I feel like it's been very well paced, so I'm looking forward to reading the official version whenever everything drops. But that's it for spoilers for now. Thank you guys for watching. Definitely let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of these spoilers, and that's gonna be it for this one. If you guys did enjoy the video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel if you guys are new. And as always, I hope you guys have a good day or night whenever you guys are watching this video. I'm Rewinds, and I'm out.